On September 10th, 1983, Joseph Daniel Votto was born, a Canadian kid born to a mother who was a wine professional and a father who liked baseball and was a chef. And at a young age, Joey was into baseball as well, admiring the great Ted Williams, putting a poster of him on his wall in his room. He'd go on to become a three-sport athlete in high school, playing baseball, basketball, and of course hockey. He's Canadian, of course, born and raised, so it would probably be illegal for him to not play hockey. So he did, along with basketball and baseball, with baseball clearly being the one he was the most talented and serious in. In 2001, Joey participated in a draft showcase down in Fort Myers, Florida, and this was his introduction. Watch.
My name's Joey Votto, 6'2", Ridgeview Collegiate High School in Toronto, Canada, third base.
Okay, next.
At that point in time, Joey Votto wasn't someone many people knew about. He wasn't a big name prospect at all. If you're part of the 70% of viewers not subscribed, make sure to hit that button if you enjoy the content. Thank you. Casey McEwen, who was a Red scouting director at the time, wanted to watch his nephew play in the showcase, so he went one early morning to go watch him play, and that's when McEwen discovered Joey playing third base for this team. Although he was there for his nephew, McEwen couldn't help but think, this is interesting, every time Joey came up to bat. Later that same afternoon, McEwen snuck over to watch Joey in another game for some more at-bats, going on to watch his nephew play again the next day, with the focus really starting to go over to the young Joey Votto at this point. Calling the Reds' national scout, John Castleberry, telling him that he wanted him to come see this kid play too. So John Castleberry, the team's national scout at the time, started to jog as fast as he could over to where his colleague told him he should go, and at that point in time, Joey got up to bat and smoked a ball to right field in what John felt was a great swing. He immediately looked at Casey McEwen, with Casey saying to him, "Let's go." To which John responded, "Dude, I've got to stay and watch this guy for a little bit and get a feel." To which Casey said back, "No, we're going to get this kid." And when John asked if he should see some more swings from the kid, Casey went, "No, don't worry about it, we're on it." And according to John, he and Casey turned around and walked away because they didn't want to tip their hand to anybody that they were on this kid. From that point forward, McEwen operated very carefully about how interested he was in the young Joey Votto, having his guys keep everything under the radar since he was afraid word might get out about him. John and Casey eventually went on a secret trip up to Toronto with three of Casey's most trusted Red scouts, with Casey telling him, "All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Detroit and jump on a plane. Castleberry has got a van and he's waiting for us, and then we'll go see this kid hit." Meanwhile, John grabbed the van, went to the Toronto airport, picked them all up, and off to see Joey Votto they all went. Upon arriving to the field, Casey didn't want he and his boys coming in all together, so they split up and entered the field in different directions. One of Casey's biggest worries and interests was to find out who else was interested in Joey Votto, and they'd eventually find out only a couple other teams were, with one of them being the New York Yankees. This secretive mission the Red Scouts were on got to the point where Jeff Barton, one of Casey's most trusted guys, turned to John Castleberry and suggested that they decoy these players and act like they are focused on the pitcher, rather than Votto hitting, asking John if he had a radar gun, and he actually did. So John pulled it out on this pitcher, warming up, who was about 6'2" and looked pretty talented, with Barton suggesting that they pretend to be watching the pitcher and writing notes on him. Turns out the pitcher wasn't even throwing 80 miles an hour, which made Jeff and John look at each other and laugh, realizing that this plan was not going to work. Another one of the Red Scouts who was there, Bill, was even asked by Joey Votto's coach if he really thought they were going to buy that he was there to watch the pitcher. There was a point in which McEwen felt some doubt about being all in on Votto, considering nobody else was, even the experts, but Castleberry reassured him of Votto's potential, and so they continued their pursuit. There was just one little issue, though, which was that Votto was scheduled to have workouts with the Angels and, of course, the Yankees. Skip ahead to draft day, and although the Reds would pick Votto with their second pick, McEwen was not comfortable yet, because it still needed to be closed with a signed contract, something that takes a little more time, while also finding out that the Yankees scout was in Votto's house ready and waiting to sign him if he was available. But it eventually, of course, all worked out, with Castleberry making his way up to the Vottos, agreeing to the contract with Joey and his parents, and with that, Joey Votto was a Cincinnati Red, or at least in their organization. So, mission successful by the Red Scouts. But with that said, the team's general manager, Jim Bowden, was not happy with his quote-unquote rogue scout who didn't report Votto as a top hitter, as he was concerned that other Reds employees would leak to other teams how good Joey Votto was, or just that their presence scouting him in general would bring too much attention. So the Red Scouts, who were mostly responsible for why Joey Votto was and is a Red to begin with, ended up not lasting on the team much longer to ever see Votto come to fruition after he became a Red, as McEwen was reassigned/promoted to a new role on the team by Bowden, but eventually decided to leave after he wasn't happy with the role of being a special assistant, whatever that means. And as for John Castleberry, he was fired not too long after the Votto signing. As for Votto himself, well, he started off damn well in his first few seasons in the minor leagues, but by 2005, Joey's strikeout numbers were up and his batting average was way down. But not to worry, because 2006 would end up being the best year in the minors for Votto, as he would be named the Southern League Most Valuable Player, eventually getting called up to the Reds as a September call-up the next year in 2007. And the best part about Joey's years in the minor leagues? He didn't go one of those years without carrying Ted Williams' book called The Science of Hitting with him. You know, his idol, the man he put up a poster of in his room as a kid, was still there with him throughout his minor league journey, helping him become a big leaguer. And what did Mr. Votto do?
Didn't disappoint.
He'd finish off the 2007 season in the big leagues with 4 home runs and 7 doubles. He was really good. With that said, it was just 1 month, so the Reds still weren't fully ready to give him full playing time yet. So to start off the 2008 season, the Reds actually platooned Votto with Scott Hatteberg at first base until Dusty Baker realized it wasn't Moneyball anymore, giving Joey the starting job, and he was awesome, finishing second in the Rookie of the Year voting. And really from that point forward, up until the end of 2018, Joey Votto was one of the best hitters in all of baseball. From the start of 2008 all the way through the end of the 2018 season, Joey Votto hit .311 with a .428 on base percentage and an OPS over 950, while also swatting 265 home runs. He was a beast for the Cincinnati Reds for that decade plus, but that didn't go by without some people not really liking him, his personality, with some in fact thinking he was kind of a dick. Several years ago, while the Reds were playing at Wrigley Field against the Cubs, Votto took a baseball, and instead of giving it to a kid in the stands, as literally any other player would do in that moment, Votto decided to chuck it out of the ballpark, literally throwing it over everybody. And then the very next day, he did it again, yeeting the baseball over all the fans grasping for one. There was also the incident he had between an adult in the stands back in 2016 when Votto was trying to catch a foul ball in the stands, only for an older fan, a fan also trying to catch the ball, to make contact with him, messing Votto up and letting the ball drop. Votto was not pleased, staring the guy down and grabbing his shirt to kind of say, "Hey, you're a Reds fan, right? You idiot, you're supposed to let me catch that. Remember who you're rooting for," and that kind of sort of thing. In the moment, yeah, Votto was definitely angry at the fan, but after the game, he felt bad and had this to say, quote, "He was generous enough to apologize at the time and afterwards. In retrospect, he's not the one who should be apologizing. I should be apologizing. He's just trying to catch a ball and here I am bullying him." End quote. With Votto also signing a ball for him, writing, "Thanks for being so understanding when I acted out of character." So up until I'd say a few years ago, I guess it would make sense for people to think Joey Votto was kind of a weirdo in some ways as far as his personality went. And maybe you have a point, but the most chaotic personality in baseball has suddenly become arguably the most beloved. Last year, Joey Votto started to become more invested in social media. Why? Because according to the man himself, he felt isolated while also wanting to show fans that he wasn't the serious, boring kind of personality he had led everyone on to think he was over the years. So that's when Votto's TikTok and overall social media presence spiked, and oh my god, is it not just glorious, but it's wild. It's crazy, it's hilarious, it's weird but kind of in a good way, it's everything, it's all the above. A little over a year ago, Joey Votto posted a TikTok of him doing a Doja Cat dance while wearing a Ron Weasley outfit. You know, the guy from Harry Potter. Yes, that's what 38-year-old Joey Votto decided to do with his free time. Went on an app targeted toward teenagers and danced like Doja Cat in a Ron Weasley costume. And he actually received a lot of backlash from this TikTok post, enough to the point where he felt the need to delete it, which is unfortunate. But don't worry, Votto has only continued to post on social media, especially as of late. Last year, 2022, was not the best of years on the field for Votto, as he hit really poorly while also having to get season-ending shoulder surgery, something that would have him knocked out until now. Things are looking a lot brighter in Cincinnati since Votto last played in a game, as the Reds are starting to show how good they can be and the amazing future they potentially have with all their young stars now breaking through. Elly De La Cruz, the most hyped up Reds player ever and arguably the top prospect in all of baseball this year, has been killing it and has put an extra jolt into this young Reds team. A team that's finally really competitive and looks like it has longevity and a bright future. But it still seemed to be missing something. I can't quite put my finger on what that was. Oh yeah, this man. That's what they were missing. Joey Votto. He's back. And from this point forward, this man, this legend, this chaotic son of a bitch shall be known as the Joker. While he was gone off the field, Votto went undercover at one point last season and watched a game in the stands with Reds fans. And this year, he took on a bus driving job. Watch. But now, as you see here with his Joker outfit on, he's back and ready to bang. And spoiler alert, he still bangs. If you're confused, it's a meme that started back in 2021 surrounding Votto, as shirts literally were made that said Votto still bangs.
I know I have the talent and skill. I feel good still, physically. I'm motivated. And he's like, dude, you still bang. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, someone was in the clubhouse, I believe it was Trent, and he caught it. I was like, really? You think so? You know, one of those like, made for TV moments. Right. Really? You think so? And he's like, yeah, dude, you still bang. And I was like, wow, I still bang.
In his very first game back, the Joker made his chaotic presence known, hitting a bomb in just his second at-bat, only to then put on a Viking outfit because why the hell not, and then proceeded to drive in 2 more runs the next inning in a game the Reds went on to win. For a team that's so young, this is exactly what the Reds need. A 39-year-old veteran who knows what it's like to both win and lose to come in and be a mentor to the young guys. Again, nothing about Joey Votto is that normal, so maybe the parents of these young players don't want their kids around him, but I think he is perfect for the 2023 Reds. They seem to have some characters, with the new Elly De La Cruz calling himself the fastest man alive, literally writing that onto a baseball to give to Chiefs star quarterback Patrick Mahomes. You also have the whole team doing the Viking outfit and the helmet, and now the Joker has arrived. Watch out, baseball.
And here we go.